just a good old boy.
Hey y'all, I'm hauling hay today. Moving this that we baled the other day over here to the barn and stacking it in rows. We're going to be coming back again here in probably another month, maybe a little bit longer than a month, and baling both sides. So we should have plenty of hay up here this year on this particular farm. We've had a really good year so far as yields, and if it stays, it's looking like there's going to be a good second. We've had good rain, and I know a lot of people's probably don't normally hear that this year. It seems like everywhere else it's been either raining way too much or not enough. Which it may change here. We started out with way too much rain, and then we got a good dry spell to cut and bale a lot of it in a hurry, and we brought in extra help to get the job done as quick as we could, and we did. We got it knocked out, majority of our hay knocked out in a little over a month. And we got done with our first cutting for the first time in probably 4 or 5 years by July, the 1st of July, which used to be our goal. But in the last several years, with the rain that we've been getting every year and everything else that's been going on, we haven't been able to make that. I am a little bit worried because, like I said earlier in the year, I was not really worried about a drought year, even though it could have happened. But going by the norm or trends, as much rain as we'd gotten in the spring, I just didn't see us going through a drought all year anyway, or all summer and spring during hay season, because we'd had so much rain, and there was so much rain in the air and in the ground and everywhere else. And it's been kind of an average year. We've been a little bit wet, but not really, so I'm thinking next year is probably going to be a drier year. And that's kind of what I'm worried about. I may be wrong. Here where we're at, I know down south they've had some pretty dry weather, and further east of us this year, and I think that it's going to move on over into here maybe next year. Just by going off of the weather patterns that's happened in the past, it's generally how it goes. We'll be wet for a while, and then all of a sudden it'll be kind of have a year or two of good actual hay weather, and we'll produce a lot of hay, and then we'll go into a drought for about 2 to 3 years, and then it'll start raining again and work its way back. It seems to be the trend that's happened in the last several years anyway, that I've noticed, but you never know. Weather's up to the good Lord, and it's uncontrollable, so you never know what tomorrow is going to bring. But we have been very fortunate this year with the weather. It's worked out pretty good for us on our hay, and so far we've been doing all right with it. Got a lot of hay left to bale this year, a lot of hay, possibly even maybe if I can get it cut and done early enough, maybe having a good third crop for more hay to sell on some of our fields, more than we normally do, just because we got everything cut earlier. If we can get it cut off again and get everything baled before the 1st of September, I think we might be able to, by mid-September, maybe do a few third cuts on what we can cut in the next couple weeks, and maybe get some of that. If we do that, it'll probably be crabgrass, and if we square bale any, I'll be using preservative, because by then it gets cooler at night and it gets harder to dry that stuff out, because that crabgrass has such a syrupy stalk and inside and everything. It's really hard to get it to dry and cure properly. It's very finicky on how to get that stuff to dry and dry right, or it'll make a good quality hay. But if you can do it, it makes some really good hay. but it is aggravating. I'm hoping right now we're on track for hopefully I won't have to rebale any this year. That is my goal. I did not want to have to rebale any hay. I wanted to get it out of the field and put in the barn and then just load it and sell it and not have to unroll no rounds and rebale them. But you never know what we may have to do, worst case. I mean, if we have to, we will. Ideally, I don't want to do that, but you never know. Kind of want to talk about hay baler prices. I've been seeing a lot on forums lately, people talking about hay baler prices. What are hay balers bringing? And some of the numbers I'm hearing are alarming. I just don't see the value there. I don't see us going to large squares. I see us sticking with rounds, but I just don't see the value once you cross the $50,000 range. I just don't, with the price of cattle and everything going on in ag right now that it is, especially the cattle industry, and the bad prices, I just don't see how it makes sense for equipment just to keep going up. I know the economy's doing good. I know that everything else is booming and everything keeps going up as a whole, but from the ag equipment side, I just don't see why it keeps going up, because people aren't making any more money than they've been at, especially in the hay side, as far as for cattle producers, which is mostly who bales hay. There's a lot of us bales it and sells it too, like we do, but most people that round roll hay, especially round roll hay, are baling hay for their own cattle mostly, or that's why they have the equipment to begin with. So I don't see how it's working out for these prices to be where they're at. You can take the nearest baler we got is the Klaus, so I'll just use it as an example. You can take that baler. When we bought that baler, it was like low 20s. What we give for that baler in 2010. And now that same baler is mid 30s to high 30s. With the rebate they got on right now. Without the rebate, it'd be a little bit more, but they've got a rebate, or did have. I don't know if they've took it off now or not, but that's where they're at. And I just don't see why there's such a price increase, which that's cheap. A lot of the other brands I've been seeing are way north of that. I mean, they're in the high 40s, 50s range, 60s, some of them. Some of them are even more than that, I've heard. By credible sources who actually have priced them at dealers, depending on what make it is, and options, which is crazy to me. If you're spending that kind of money, if you're spending $50,000+ on a round baler, I just don't see the point. I guess I mean, everybody's different, everybody's got their own figuring, but I just don't see the point. To me, you would be better off to go buy a good used large square baler, maybe a 3x3, if they still make those, or a 3x4, maybe something like that. Single axle large square baler, not a double axle huge high density baler or something like that, but just start out with that. Maybe a good used 150 horse tractor that's been taken care of, maybe not have the lowest of hours on it, but it's been well maintained and taken care of. Go buy you a good used one of them for what you could, maybe a new tractor and round baler, and then start doing large squares, and then you got continuous baling and the production goes through the roof on what you can do. I just don't see why anybody would want to spend that kind of money on a round baler. The whole purpose in round balers was they were cheaper than large square balers. They're an alternative to not doing smalls, but having the bigger bales that you can handle with ease, but being more cost effective. May not be as fast for, but it's more productive than a small square baler, and it costs less than a large square baler for somebody who's maybe not baling that much hay. But if you're baling in 10,000 bales a year, probably I would say 7 to 10,000, anywhere in that rolls a year. I mean, you need to have a large square baler. It's crazy to be running round rollers anyway. That you would save yourself so much time and money. Just it would be way more beneficial. But I just don't understand why round balers are that high. I think there's. I don't know. Let me know what y'all think. I think it's crazy. I think all these equipment companies got stupid high on round balers, and well, pretty much everything, but especially round balers. To me, they're too damn high, and they ought to not be over 20 to 30,000 right now if you're going off of what cattle prices are. But I know I'm just preaching to the choir. Everybody else probably thinking the same thing, but I just don't understand why they keep going up. There's no justification for it whatsoever. So, thanks for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.